right, hello and welcome back to the Run It Back show on the Raptors Republic Network. Obviously, I am not Zolfi. We did a little Grady Dick action and we did a little bit of a swap here. He's over being a GOAT at Sportsnet, but I am joined by the other GOAT, Coty Wiles, here again. He's taking Zolfi's place instead of taking mine, but we're here to recap another week of Raptors action. So if you don't mind, let's run it back.
Hey, it's me, Cody, not Zolfi, as he is away, but I'm going to try to do my best. Of course, the 1 week I get to do this recap, it's just not a very good week of Raptors basketball, is it? It started in the mile-high city of Denver, where a lot of the Raptors fans didn't expect much, especially with Emmanuel Quickley and Gary Trent Jr. joining the usual suspects on the injury report. But the group led by RJ Barrett held a 21-point lead over Denver in the third quarter until the Nuggets just said, yeah, that's enough, and stormed all the way back to take down the Raptors 125-119. It was a big game from RJ Barrett, leading the Raptors in scoring. 26 points for him, almost a double-double with 9 assists, 7 rebounds as well. Bruce Brown in the revenge against his former team, 13 points and 10 rebounds for himself. And Kelly Olynyk, one of his best games as a Raptor, 24 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Toronto then went from the mile-high city to the Motor City to revenge their early season loss to the Pistons. You know, remember when the Raptors were the team to allow Detroit to snap their historically long losing streak? Yeah, anyways, it did not go according to plan. Quickly returned to the lineup, however, as RJ Barrett came out, and the Raptors just got dominated inside. Jalen Duren went for a career-high 23 rebounds to go along with 24 points, and the Pistons out-rebounded Toronto by 21 boards. Detroit took the matchup 113-104 for your Raptors. Emmanuel Quickley coming back into the lineup, 25 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, while another solid game from Kelly Olynyk, 19 points this time, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. And hey, I'll mention him earlier, I'll mention him again, Bruce Brown, another great game as a member of the Raptors here, 17 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. To round out the week, it was a home and home against the Orlando Magic, and there just wasn't much to say. The Orlando Magic bodied up the Raptors in both games, holding the Raptors to a very low amount of points, 96 in game one, 103 in game two, and it was a struggle on the offensive end, to say the least. In game number one, though, someone who did have a good offensive night himself, Gary Trent Jr., returning to the lineup from missing the previous 2 games of the week. 31 points for GTJ to go along with 4 rebounds. Hey, he shot 7 of 11 from downtown in this one. Jordan Nwora with an all-right game off the bench in Toronto in this one, 14 points and 5 rebounds. In game number 2, it was a lot of the same struggles for Toronto. Only 96 points, struggling to get over that 100-point threshold, which in today's NBA is almost an accomplishment in itself. Another game from Jordan Nwora, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 9 from the field for the Raptors bench piece. Gary Trent Jr., 15 points and 4 rebounds, and that would do it. So to recap the week, 0-4 for the Toronto Raptors. They are now down to a 23-45 record, still 12th in the Eastern Conference, but as we keep checking in on Run It Back, the Tankathon watchers, they are currently tied with the Memphis Grizzlies as of this recording for the 6th best odds in the lottery.
All right, so that was the week, horrible week for the Raptors fans. You know, I was just coming back from vacation just to see L's on L's, but you know, I want to ask Cody right off the bat. You're placed. All right, we're here, we're struggling. I'm putting you as the GM of the Raptors. What do you want to do with this team going forward, and who do you want to see step up?
It's tough, right? Because 7-game losing streak, as we know, 1-9 in their last 10. It doesn't really bother me. It's not the record that's bothering me. It's what I want to see in the court. I want to see players to continue to develop, and we're kind of seeing it. But it's so hard when players are coming in and out of the lineup for a various different reasons, but I just want to see players to continue to get better. Obviously, the young guys, right? Emmanuel Quickley is someone we have been talking about he didn't have the best week. We'll get into it a bit more with the power rankings, but
Mhm.
he's somebody who I've talked to Zolfi about this over the last couple of weeks. He struggles against, the physical, bigger guards, struggling to get around them, get downhill, get separation.
Mhm.
And when we saw it specifically against the Magic, Jalen Suggs, one of the best guard defenders in the NBA, really getting up on him. And that's something that quickly needs to develop. And he's going to have a lot of runway to do it. Someone else, I want to see Ochai Agbaji. This might be kind of out of left field, but
Mhm.
I want to see him on offense because it's not been pretty to say the least on the offensive end of the floor. But what I will say is not many players in the NBA can go from getting the Jamal Murray assignment on a Monday and then guarding Paolo Banchero on that weekend. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So he got those two assignments. I've been loving what he's been seeing defensively. Want to see more on offense. And we'll get through more players, but there's specific things for a lot of the players that I want to continue to see develop.
Mhm. From what I've seen this past week, like I didn't expect them to go on a crazy win streak, especially with the amount of injuries. And to mentioning that with players being out, I want to do condolences to the Barrett family suffering a tragic loss. Hearts out to everyone there. So obviously the team's without a lot of players. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of fan overreaction. Those Twitter spaces going crazy after every loss. I want to ask you right now too, how are you feeling about this pick? What do you think should be going on with this pick right now?
So it's like I said, they're basically locked into like sixth or
Yeah.
seventh around there. You might have to maybe in post, you're gonna have to get Zolfi's tweet. I know he
Yeah, popped
posted
off.
a big thing, and it's around like a 50-50 chance historically that they
Mhm.
even get to stay in the top six if they happen to finish top six.
Mhm.
And over the past 10 years, as Zolfi laid out for us, they're not moving up. The sixth best odds isn't moving up. You're almost
Yeah.
better to get the seventh worst
Yeah.
odds. So it's uh I don't know if I want to put my flag in keep or convey. I don't want to flag yet, but obviously it would be nice to see a top six pick for the
Mhm.
way this season has gone to fully uh come back next year healthy and with more players. I will say if they do end up getting three draft picks, if they do end up keeping their top six pick, I've identified three archetypes that I'd like to see the Raptors go out and
Mhm.
get. A 3-and-D guard
Mhm.
who fits alongside RJ Barrett, Scotty, and quickly. 3-and-D bigger wing who, so we don't have to have Ochai Agbaji on the Paolo Bancheros
Mhm.
of the world. And a rim running big who can be another sort of pick and roll partner for Scotty and quickly who can catch lobs. I love Pirtle. I feel like I'm one of the bigger Pirtle supporters, but
Mhm.
he doesn't really play above the rim a lot.
Mhm.
So I feel like if they could somehow get two or all three of those archetypes come draft time, then I'm okay. If it comes at pick 14, pick 31, if we get the pick, I don't care. That's my draft take.
Yeah, I'm probably right with you on there too, especially what I saw from Zolfi just being the odds are so like it's 50-50 like you said. So I don't know. Right now I don't have a firm place in the ground anymore. I used to just be like, yo, just tank it. Just tank. See what happens. But I don't know anymore because again, there's only few players from this draft class. It's not a great draft class. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're planning going forward. But with the team too, again, they've been having a rough stretch. What does this say to you about Darko? Do you think he's been handling like the team well? Do you think there needs to be some changes with what he's doing with the team, or how are you viewing Darko right now?
I don't know if this is a minority take as well, but
Mhm.
I've offensively, I think Darko's brought in his system
Mhm.
and he's done well. They're flying the ball around. They are a top team in the league in assists. And the defense is still coming along, but maybe it's a sort of thing. And it's hard to implement everything in year one. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
maybe kind of offense this year, works on the defense next year. But also, Kyle, he's coached like five different teams, man. Like
Yeah.
he's been put through the ringer as a
Yeah.
rookie coach, if you're thinking about it, like pre OG trade, then post that trade, the Pascal trade, now just like Scotty going in out of the lineup, Jakob coming out of the lineup.
Mhm.
Obviously now RJ Barrett, we'll see how much time he misses, obviously grieving and dealing with a loss in
Mhm.
his family. So I feel like I don't know what rookie coach is going to come in
Mhm.
and do a better job that that Darko has, because offensively it's been impressive. We've seen moments when this team is firing on all cylinders on offense, and it's fun to watch. Like there's been moments where this team's been fun to watch, but yeah, this last couple of weeks has been rough. March has been very rough to the Toronto Raptors, and it's not going to get any better. They got 14 games left. 10 of them are against above 500 teams. That includes like Sacramento Kings, Oklahoma Thunder. We'll see the New York Knicks, the OG, Lakers, T-Wolves, Bucks, Sixers. This losing streak can continue, and I honestly don't know. I put it out on Twitter the other day. I don't know how many more wins the Raptors are actually going to finish with at the end of the season.
I know coming up, like they have the Wizards, so they might get at least one. That's
the Wizards and Nets in there, so maybe they get a couple. But oh, geez.
But yeah, like I've seen with Darko, he's faced a lot of scrutiny this season, but with how the team is right now, I think he's handled it exceptionally well given the circumstances. Like you have some of your best players out due to unforeseen circumstances, and he's handled it pretty well. He's handled it great for a rookie coach, especially. So for the people just calling out saying he's not doing the right thing, we can need a better coach. I don't think it gets better for the Raptors, at least with his system and everything. It's been working great, and I've loved seeing him. I want to get more into the players, but I think that's more focus for the power rankings. So I think it's a good time that we switch over to the power rankings. All right, so for this week power rankings, again, reminding everyone this is fluid. It is week by week, and since the Raptors are very injury riddled right now, it was really hard to rank this team. So I'm just go for it. Number 1, we got Emmanuel Quickley. 2, Gary Trent Jr. 3, Kelly Olynyk. 4, Bruce Brown. 5, Jordan Nwora. 6, Grady Dick. 7, Jonte Porter. At 8, we got Ochai. 9, Jalen McDaniels. 10, we got Ramsey, who's a new addition to, not a new addition to the team, played a little bit of minutes this game. Give us a good ball. 11, Scotty Barnes. 12, RJ Barrett. 13, Jakob Poeltl. 14, Chris Boucher. Some names were off just in sake of numbers and two ways, but Cody, let me know what you think. I know you got some opinions about this. What do you think about this list? Feel free to roast me.
No, we'll get to maybe Jalen McDaniels, but it's so tough with the injuries, right? Like you guys doing these power rankings, like it's been. I know you guys making the graphics too. I know it's been wild, but let's start with. Let's go to Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah.
You have him moving up on this list, and he's had a good week. He only played the 2 games against Orlando, but he had that 31-point outburst, and on the week, 23 points, 1.5 assists, 4 rebounds, 52%, almost 53% on 8.5 threes per game, over 55% from the field. As we've seen players get hurt, he's taking on a bigger role on offense. We're seeing him do some more shot creation. The 3-point shot has been hitting since these injuries, but also defensively. Like this has been this stretch, maybe since basically Scotty's gotten hurt, he's taking on a bigger defensive assignments, and he's been playing pretty well defensively. Like he's getting into people. He's averaging around 2 steals over the last little bit here. So I talked about it with Zolfi last week. He kind of needs a real secondary skill to really be a consistent starter in the league. And if he really fits that 3-and-D mold with some shot creation, upside, I could see a role where Gary Trent Jr. first of all re-signs with the Raptors, but also has a bigger role moving into the future.
Just going back to this list too, like with everybody being injured, besides obviously the obvious answer would be Emmanuel Quickley, but putting him aside, who do you think has to step up to the plate or has the most pressure on them right now, aside from Quickley, to kind of perform for the team?
I mean, I could go right back to Gary Trent Jr., but he's somebody that needs to step up. But just for the sake of talking about somebody different, I think Kelly Olynyk is getting really relied upon to provide solid minutes, and they've been like dominated down low. I was trying to find the word, but it's been a problem with him at center. Trying to find the numbers here. So Toronto's 2-16 without Jakob Poeltl this year, and since he's gotten hurt, they've had the 7-game losing streak here. They've only out-rebounded their opponent once, and it was by 1, and they have a -61 differential when it comes to the boards. Obviously, that's not all on Kelly Olynyk, but he's not really providing a lot of what you want out of a traditional center, right? Like we know defensively he has some problems, but offensively, I've liked him this week. He's up to 16 points, 3.5 assists, 6 rebounds to be fair, 50% on over 3 attempts per game. The 3-point shots coming along, and that's Kelly Olynyk's game, right? He's not going to provide you the
Mhm.
defense, but it's kind of what the Raptors really need right now. And I think that's if you were to pinpoint what's been going wrong in this 7-game losing stretch, it's the numbers I just laid out for you
Mhm.
rebounding wise. I said it in the recap about Jalen Duren, 23 rebounds, man. We've seen DeAndre Ayton have a big game. Yusuf Nurkic going back to
Mhm.
last week. Geez, man, they are getting destroyed down low.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been, I feel like that this whole season, like aside when Yaka wasn't in, like they were dealing with rebounding issues left and right too, and that kind of brings it back. Like, do you like we got the two ways going where we had Moji and guys like Javon. Do you think with the injuries being this much, they should just kind of pull the trigger and let these guys play and give them a little bit more than 2 minutes a game?
Yeah, it's gonna come to that soon, right?
Mhm.
Even some of the guys they were trying to get one of the two ways. DJ Carton,
Yeah.
he's in a walking boot. He has an ankle sprain.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Javon Freeman Liberty not getting too many minutes this past week. Moji is down with the 905, putting up good numbers there. Uh, yeah, man, it's getting to that point in the season where we're going to start seeing a lot of guys start cycling through. We already are. Even Jamias Ramsey, I
Mhm.
believe. Hey, he's on a second 10 day now, and if there was some intrigue into watching the Raptors, it's let's check this guy out. He's
Mhm.
coming into the first quarter. All he averaged around 18 minutes this past week, 6.5 points, an assist, 4.5 rebounds. The 3-point shot has not been good, 20% on 3.5 per game. But we all saw that windmill dunk that might have
Mhm.
got him that second 10-day contract. But
Mhm.
man, he's quick. He's showing some stuff on defense. He's a former second round pick. Good numbers in the G League this season as well with his former team. So this is the type of guy that we're all getting to witness. The Raptors front office is getting to witness and to see if he's going to be signed to the rest of the year. So like Ramsey, Moji, Devon Freeman Liberty, I'm assuming all these guys will get a different look at some point.
Mhm. And I want to go back to Gary Trent. You know, have him at number two, even though he only played two of like the 4 games, but he did put up a good performance with 31 points, I think 7 11 3 pointers, and it impressed me. But for me, Gary Trent, he started off the season kind of rough, and now he's been getting back into his groove. Do you personally want to see the Raptors re-sign him? Because I know we can't let him walk away for nothing, but what do you want to do when it comes to Gary Trent?
Yeah, he's still young, right? I believe
Mhm.
he's 24. And here's the thing, he doesn't really fit Darko ball. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Tends to be a black hole, doesn't really move the ball a lot.
Mhm.
Like since he started 26 consecutive games now for the Raptors, he's only sitting around an assist
Mhm.
so per game. But it goes back to the secondary skill that I was talking about. Like if this defense can continue to hold, I think he has a role on the Raptors. Just being a 3-and-D guard, right? I mentioned something that the Raptors could possibly target at the draft as a 3-and-D guard.
Mhm.
Gary Trent Jr. is right here as well. So he has a role. Theoretically, he does fit alongside an Emmanuel quickly, alongside RJ, alongside Scotty, alongside the core. He fits in that mold. It's just a matter of is this defense going to be consistent and how much does he want?
Yeah.
If he's going to be wanting a raise, I'm not quite sure what the front office would do, but if he's willing to come back at around the same number he is, around the 20 million mark,
Mhm.
I believe it's a fair deal because again, Raptors fans have not liked seeing these assets just be lost
Yeah.
for nothing, right? Or at a depreciated value. So
Mhm.
I think you got to bring him back regardless, just to not lose him for nothing. But hopefully, it's not a bit too high of a number.
Mhm. And I know we're like just touching back on the Raptors' big problems right now with Yaka being out. So, do you think this is going to result in Jonte Porter stepping up and getting more minutes for the team?
Hey, he's had a good week. You have
Mhm.
him up to 7, I believe.
Yeah.
The resurgence is back. This I don't know how if you got to talk to him with the 905. Obviously, we both do some 905 work as
Yeah.
well. I loved watching him with the 905.
Mhm.
He was honestly the best player on the floor. Him and Javon Freeman Liberty.
Mhm.
Uh, at any 905 game for the Raptors. It's just such a good dude too.
Yeah.
Like getting be able to talk to him, like he's just smart. He knows what he's doing. He's a he's a good person. This week, 7 points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 35% on 4 3 attempts per game, which is something I like. Field goal percentage is a little low at 41%, but he's really done his offensively. He's really Kelly Olynyk light. Like this is something he
Yeah.
mentioned when Kelly Olynyk was brought into the team. Like he could teach Jonte Porter a
Yeah.
couple of things because a lot of their games are similar, right? Like they both can spread the floor. Both are really good passers. Like one of Jonte Porter's best traits is his passing ability, and I would I think you could argue Jonte Porter's a better defender than Kelly Olynyk right
Mm.
now. He tried his best down low this past week, and it's obviously got overwhelmed at times because he's only around 6'9", but he's able to get up verticality. Like I feel like he's a bit more athletic than Kelly Olynyk, so he can contest a bit more of the shots.
Mm.
But if the Raptors are looking into being more of a two big kind of lineup for future wise, Jonte can. I think that's where he finds more minutes is spreading his time out at the 4 and the 5. I don't think he can play 5 full time in the
Mhm.
NBA, but he's shown something this week, and he is somebody that with Pearl being out, it's looking like it's going to be for the full year. I don't know why they'd want to bring him back
Yeah.
anyways. He's going to get a real chance to solidify his spot for next year because ultimately that's what it's coming down to, right? Is who's going to be on this team next year.
Mm. And with this team, again, like you're saying, very injury, very injury riddle right now. Grady Dick, he's gone heavy minutes. He played 31 against the Nuggets. He played 27 against Orlando. He did that odd jersey swap that came out of nowhere last night. But I want to know, like, do you think they should ease him back on the minutes? Because it's not like he's been having crazy games, or do you think it's too much for the rookie, or how would you handle Grady Dick going forward if you were Darko?
Yeah, I want to start with the jersey swap because there's a couple guys on the list. He needs to go. I mean, I want to see a Kobe White jersey swap and a Jaylen Brown jersey swap, right? Uh, it's teams are defending him differently now.
Mm.
I think I talked about the physicality with Emmanuel quickly. That's something that is affecting Grady Dick too. Teams are, they're not allowing him to shoot the threes anymore. They're
Mhm.
almost face guarding him, getting really up and under him. But he's trying to counter that. We see he it feels like once a week he has some like funky, crazy like just finish at the rim.
Yeah.
He's sneaky, athletic. He's so good moving off the ball. Like the amount of cuts I feel like if you just watch Grady Dick play, he's always moving, and that's something that some of the best shooters in the league tend to do. And he's from the corners, he's upwards toward the top of the league, 49% from corners this season so far. So I feel like the minutes are fine. I feel like getting this run now since he's come back up from this magic like conditioning stint that it's
Mhm.
been a pretty good player. Now teams are defending him differently, so I want to see him continue to attack the defenses differently because ultimately he has to work all this out. I mean, is there anybody else you'd rather see getting these 30
True.
minutes per game? You know what I mean? So continue to keep building what's going on defensively. It's going to be a multi-year thing, right?
Yeah.
No one's expecting Grady to defend at a high level as of right now, but this week he was fine as well. 11 points, 2.5 assists. I believe he had a career high in assists against Denver with 7, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken. 2 rebounds as well. Only 31% from 3. He hasn't been the best shooting wise since Scotty's went down. Only 37% from the floor, but that's just increased minutes, increased volume.
Mhm.
We want Grady to be a future piece on the team. Getting these high usage minutes is something that can't hurt him.
Yeah, I think I'm right with you on that too. Like for me, I've always wanted to see him kind of just get a chance, and now that he's finally getting it, especially with the
Yeah.
team playing these high minutes against Denver, like you said, 17.7 assists. He's showing that he's more than just a shooter. Like he's had that sneaky athleticism. He can play make when he needs to do. Like it just because right now the starters are injured, it's been probably a harder time finding him open, more volume that he needs to take. So of course his numbers might take a hit. But it's just about experience right now for him. I'm not expecting this guy to be Steph Curry. I'm not expecting him to come out there and dominate the floor. I just love to see him playing these minutes, and I don't know, like it's just great moments to see all around. He's making his viral moments. He's doing his jersey swaps. He's getting out there. But yeah, that should be good for the power rankings this week. I don't know if there's anything else you want to comment on. I know you said Jalen McDaniels on the list.
I was literally pulling up the numbers as you were saying that. So I brought it up last week that I was maybe getting sucked in because I was getting sucked back in because he was somebody I just loved when they picked him
Mhm.
up. I was like, oh, this is somebody fits what they're trying to do. It was the Portland game because he had a season high 10 rebounds. He started the overtime period against Portland last week, and he's guarding like Anthony Simons, and he's on the biannual, so he's gonna be here next year. He's under contract, and I
Mhm.
can just see the vision of a long
You see
OG
the vision, bro.
defender who can defend some guards. But offensively, he's just a non-factor,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And this week, I've calmed down. I've leveled out. Even though he had a decent game against Denver, he had 12 points,
Yeah.
8 points against Detroit, and then he just didn't play against Orlando, and he played 3 minutes in one game and none in the other. So it seems like it just Darko can't keep him on the floor because he doesn't fit the system
Yeah.
at all. He's like he can't do. I don't want to be rude, but offensively, it's a struggle for McDaniels.
Yeah.
I love the defense. I think he hustles on that end. You can tell that's where he feels most comfortable. But it's just tough in today's NBA where when you can't shoot and you can't really do much offensively, to be on the floor.
Mhm. Like I know Zolfi always roasts me every week about supporting Jalen McDaniels. Every time I bring him up, he's always shutting me down immediately. Like I see the length, I see the size, I see the vision on defense, but he's always constantly just let me down when it comes to the offense. So yeah, bro, it's easy. It's easy to get pulled in. I thought he might have stepped up with this team and how what the injuries are saying, but he just can't figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's like you said, the system right now he's struggling to kind of find his place, but who knows, maybe in these last stretch of games he'll just turn into Kevin Durant and surprise us. But yeah, that should be the power rankings this week. We'll be back next week to update them again. Hopefully the Raptors can show us signs of life, get a few dubs, but we will be moving on to betting ahead. All right, now it's time for betting ahead, powered by FanDuel. So let's take a look at this week's schedule. The Raptors have the Kings, the Thunder, and the Wizards. And simply put, it's going to be an extremely hard time for the Raptors as they have lost the last 4 games. They're coming into this stretch with just an injury-riddled team. RJ Barrett's out, and they're facing a hungry Kings team and a powerhouse of an OKC team. Just because of how the times are going right now, how rough it is for the Raptors, I'll give the money line for the OKC and the Kings. However, the Raptors will play the Wizards. They might be able to pull this one out. The Wizards are also currently on a 4-game losing streak and at the bottom of the standings. The Raptors have beaten the Wizards twice this season, and I believe even with the injuries, guys like Emmanuel Quickly, Gary Trent Jr. will step up and get the dub. Now, onto my same game parlay. I'm going to be looking at the Raptors versus the Kings. Even though they might lose this one, I still think it'll be a solid game to go to for a parlay. To start, I'll go with quickly alternate assists. So I'll do over 7.5 because most recently, the Orlando game, he has managed to hit his over in the last 9 games, except, like I mentioned, those Orlando games. With most of the team being injured, he will have to step up. And just to add to that, I will do quickly 15 points as well. The Raptors will need an aggressive quickly, as well as for someone averaging 17 points for the season. This shouldn't be too hard for him. And with Yaka being out, the Raptors are going to need Olynyk to come in clutch and step up for the team as well. So I'll add him for 10 points. He's hit this in his last 5 games easily. And with Yaka being out as well, this is going to be needed from him. And since he's one of the biggest players on this team playing center, I'll be adding him for 6+ rebounds. He's been hitting this in his last few games. It hasn't been too hard for him. And again, with him playing more minutes, this should be a sweat free. Last but not least, Gary Trent Jr. He's been great for the team, scoring 15+ in his last 6 games, especially with that big game he's had last week. We'll need everything from him, so I'll be slapping on a Gary Trent Jr. 20+ points for this one. And there you have it. It was Betting Ahead, powered by FanDuel. All right, that does it for us this week with Run It Back. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more content for Raptors Republic, you can check out the website, check out the videos here. We have great videos from everybody all over, great articles, great content, everything you love to see. I'm Kyle Ramnarine. This is Coty Wiles. We'll see you guys next week when we run it back.